Welcome back to the deep dive. So I have to ask you, we're sitting here in the first full month of 2026. How is that resolution going? Are you still on track? Because if you're like most people, we've hit that exact spot where the pressure is still high, but the motivation is starting to, really fade.
Oh, it's that annual moment of truth, isn't it? You're just inundated with new year, new you.
Everywhere. Gym ads, social media.
Exactly. Self-help gurus all pushing this idea of a total instant transformation.
Yeah.
But what if that whole idea of a new you is, well, fundamentally flawed? And maybe the reason why it never sticks.
That is the core idea we are diving into today. Welcome to Think Outside the Box, a deep dive. And for everyone in the class, just a reminder that this is a resource that's part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class.
Right. Our mission here is really educational. We're here to support English learners by, exploring big ideas, culture, and critical thinking. We want to give you tools that you can apply to anything, really. Learning a language, fixing your finances, any new habit.
Today, we're digging into sources like James Clear's fantastic work, Atomic Habits, and also some really sharp essays on this myth of total reinvention. We're here to figure out the real mechanics of lasting change.
And as always, we really want to hear from you. If you have any thoughts, any questions, or feedback about the class, or even this deep dive, please do message Teacher Victoria. Your input helps us steer these conversations.
Okay, let's unpack this. And we have to start with the bad news first. Just acknowledging the harsh reality. On average, something like 80% of people abandon their resolutions by mid-January.
It's a staggering number.
It is.
And if you're feeling frustrated by that, you are absolutely not alone. You're in the majority. The sources all suggest it's not a lack of willpower. It's a flaw in how the goals are set in the first place. It's this vague goal trap.
What's a classic example of a vague goal?
Oh, anything non-specific, like, I want to be better at Spanish.
Or, I need to save more money.
Exactly. They're admirable, but how do you measure them? When have you actually achieved it? If you exercise more, just once this week, did you succeed? You never get that satisfying feedback of success because there's no finish line.
So we need to be more precise. We need a better map. And the solution the sources keep pointing to is the SMART framework.
Yes, it's so effective. SMART just means your goal needs to be, specific.
So not read more, but I will read 2 academic articles every week.
Right. Then M, measurable. You need numbers. 2 articles. 30 minutes of study. Then A, attainable, and R, relevant.
Is it actually feasible for your life? And maybe more importantly, is it relevant to you, not just something that looks good on Instagram?
That's a huge one. And finally, T for timely. You set a deadline, a frequency, for 3 months. Without that, you're really just wishing.
Okay, so that helps with the logistics a lot. But I think where this really gets interesting is when we move from the what to the who, the psychology of it all, this new you idea. Why is it so appealing, but also, so destructive?
It's appealing because it promises a clean slate, right? That you can just shed your old self like a coat and poof, you're better.
A total system reboot.
Exactly. But it sets this impossibly high bar because the psychological reality is, identity is not a switch you can just flip.
It's not an update you can download.
Precisely. Yeah. Identity emerges from repeated action over time. Your internal sense of self, it's slow to change. It needs evidence. You don't just start reading and suddenly feel like a scholar. You feel like a person who is, reading.
Right.
And only after months of that does the identity start to change. The new you myth asks you to grab the identity first, and then when your behavior falters, which it will because you're human, the failure feels personal, catastrophic even.
So we're trying to change the outcome, who we are, before changing the process, what we actually do. That's the mistake. So if we ditch that fantasy, what should we focus on?
Focus on what you can influence, not what you can control, but what you can influence. Luck and randomness, they play a huge role in life. But habits are the part you can consistently shape to influence your outcomes. It's the only strategy that isn't ultimately frustrating.
And this brings us to one of the biggest ideas from the source material, that outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. This just flips everything on its head.
It really does. And it's so important to get this. Most people, they look at the result and they try to fix the result. They see a low credit score and they want a high one, like now. They look at their weight and want to lose 10 kilos this week.
But that's impossible.
It is, because your current weight is just a lagging measure of your past eating habits. Your credit score is a lagging measure of your past financial decisions.
So if I want to get more fluent in a language, I shouldn't obsess over the test score. I should obsess over the daily habits that come before the score. The 20 minutes of flashcards, the conversation practice.
Exactly. You're changing the system, not staring at the scorecard. And this is where that idea of tiny daily change comes in. We just drastically overestimate one big moment, the resolution, and we underestimate these small daily improvements.
You're talking about the atomic concept, just getting 1% better every day. I mean, the math on that is it's astounding.
It is staggering. I mean, think about it. If you get just 1% better at something, studying, saving, whatever, every day for a year, the compounding effect means you end up 37 times better.
37 times.
The difference between doing a little bit and doing nothing is massive. And the flip side is true too. If you let yourself slip by just 1% a day, you decline almost to zero. Small things accumulate.
Which makes today's actions feel both very manageable but also very high stakes. And this ties right into building that new identity in a way that can actually last, using what the source calls identity votes.
Yes. Every single action you take, no matter how small, is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. I mean, doing one push-up doesn't change your body, it's negligible, but it casts a vote.
A vote for being the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reading 2 pages casts a vote for being a reader.
So the goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner.
Absolutely. You just keep accumulating those small votes. And once you have enough evidence, the identity starts to shift. Then you don't need this huge motivation anymore. You're just acting like the person you see yourself to be.
Okay, this all sounds great, but let's be real. Why is it so hard to resist the wrong vote? We know the donut is bad. We know scrolling social media is a waste of time. Why are bad habits so much easier?
It's the misalignment of rewards. It's a key cognitive bias. Bad habits stick because the immediate reward is favorable. The instant reward of that donut is the sugar, the pleasure. The ultimate reward 6 months later is unfavorable, but our brains, they prioritize the now.
And good habits are the complete opposite. You pay the price now for a reward way down the line.
Exactly. The immediate cost of a good habit is unfavorable. You go to the gym, you feel sore, you're tired.
You don't look any different.
Not after 1 week, no. The ultimate reward is favorable, but it's months away. So the cost of good habits is in the present. The cost of bad habits is in the future. We are wired to avoid present pain.
So if our brains are working against us, then just setting a bigger goal is pointless. We have to change the system.
It has to be the system. Which brings us to another huge lesson from the sources. Forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. Goals are the results. Systems are the processes that get you there. You don't rise to the level of your goals.
But you fall to the level of your systems. That's such a powerful reframe. It means if I keep failing, the problem isn't me. It's that my current system, my environment, my routines is perfectly designed for that bad habit.
That's it. True long-term thinking becomes goalless thinking. You're just focused on refining the process endlessly.
Okay, let's get really practical. The sources give us clear strategies for managing that whole habit loop cue, craving, response, reward. What's the first step?
The first one is environment design. Make it obvious for good habits and make it invisible for bad ones. Sometimes just changing your physical space is all you need.
Give me a couple of examples.
Okay, for a good habit, make the cue impossible to miss. If you want to study your ESL materials, put the book right next to your coffee maker. Put the flashcards on your pillow. For a bad habit, you invert it. You make it invisible. Don't just rely on willpower to avoid cookies. Put them on the highest shelf. Hide them.
Make it difficult.
Yes, add friction. Put the TV remote in a drawer instead of on the coffee table. These small barriers really add up.
So it's less about motivation and more about, well, physics. It's just easier to grab the apple on the counter. What's the second strategy?
Strategy 2 is the 2-minute rule, or just scaling down. Make it easy. We almost always start way too big. You have to shrink the habit until it takes less than 2 minutes, and you can honestly say, yes, I can do this 98% of the time, no matter what.
2 minutes seems almost pointless. If my goal is to write 500 words, how does writing for 2 minutes help?
The output isn't the point at the start. The point is mastering the launch. The 2-minute version of write 500 words is just open my laptop and open the document.
The 2-minute version of run 5 kilometers is put on my running shoes.
You got it. Once you start, momentum often carries you. The goal is consistency, not intensity, at least at first.
That reminds me of that great story about the choreographer, Twyla Tharp.
Yes, it's the perfect illustration of mastering the entry point. She trains for hours every day, But her actual habit isn't the training. Her habit is, I wake up, put on my workout clothes, and hail the cab. That's it. If she's done that, she's succeeded. Because once she's in the cab,
The rest is inevitable. She's focusing on the cab, not the gym.
precisely. Habits are the entry point. They're the entrance ramp to the bigger routine. And this leads to the final crucial insight. Identifying the few decisive moments in your day.
What's a decisive moment?
It's one of those 5 or 10 little choices, often just 30 seconds long, that decide if the next hour is productive or wasted. For example, when you finish a task, what do you open first? Your language app or Instagram?
Choosing to stretch when you stand up instead of checking email.
Yes. Mastering those tiny 30-second entry points creates momentum. You don't have to be perfect all day. You just have to win those few decisive moments.
This has been a complete shift in perspective. If you put all this together, the message is so clear. Real change isn't a dramatic, one-time makeover. It's quiet, repetitive maintenance.
It's working with your existing patterns, not trying to erase them. It's a kinder, more sustainable path. Identity change is a slow negotiation between who we've been and who we are becoming. Progress is never linear. The key is perfection. It's just getting back to the system after you slip up.
So a final thought for you, the listener, to think about. Since true change is about consistent maintenance, not radical reinvention, what's one small, repeatable behavior you can commit to today, quietly, without needing applause, that casts a solid vote for your future self? That was our deep dive. Think outside the box. A deep dive.
And remember, this educational deep dive is a resource that is part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class.
We absolutely invite you to message Teacher Victoria with any thoughts or questions about the class or today's discussion. We really do love hearing from you.
You can also visit teachervictoria.com right now to explore all the classes, resources, and related content to help your learning journey.
So to recap those details one last time, you've been listening to Think Outside the Box, a deep dive. It's part of the Teacher Victoria ESL class. Please reach out and visit teachervictoria.com to find more.
And please do try the classes with Teacher Victoria. All the information on how to do that is in the description box below.